Thank you, everybody, for coming to the College Football Betting with Aaron Torres YouTube channel. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead, click that subscribe button. It helps our channel grow. It helps our audience grow. I appreciate it more than you know as we're talking college football on this channel year-round. Appreciate your support. Click that subscribe button. Friday night, Colorado. The Colorado Buffaloes hosting the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Georgia Tech, as we record Wednesday night, a 4-point favorite, over-under set at 51.5. I will say, money seems to be coming in on Colorado. It was 4.5 on Tuesday. By Wednesday, it is down to 4. We'll see where it gets to kickoff. Remember, this is a Friday night kickoff, ESPN, 8 Eastern time. That 4-point spread, by the way, courtesy of our friends and partners at Circus Sportsbook. So look, as far as this game is concerned, listen, the focus is going to be on Colorado. One, I'll say this. I think we're all happy. We're all over the moon knowing now what Coach Prime was going through this offseason. I'm just happy that he's healthy, that he's able to coach, that he's cancer-free. I don't mean to be serious here on a Wednesday night, but that was a scary press conference. I happened to be watching it live, not knowing what to expect, and to hear what Coach Prime went through this summer. I'm happy he's back on the sidelines. I don't think there is any doubt that it proves that he wants to be a college football coach. But I'll also say this is, I think what's interesting is what is Colorado going forward? Because I think so much focus is on Shedeur Sanders. So much focus is on Travis Hunter, even LeJohntay Wester being gone. I don't think enough people fully realize how much Colorado has coming back. Listen, there's going to be a lot of podcasts that talk about the impact of Travis Hunter, whatever. Here is what Colorado has coming back, though, and do people realize how much they actually have coming back? Okay, so first of all, Caden Salter at this point has officially been named the starting quarterback. Feels like a little bit of revisionist history. People do understand he was one of the best quarterbacks in the portal, right? This was a guy that 2 seasons ago threw for 2,800 yards, 32 touchdowns, 12 more rushing touchdowns a season ago, or 2 seasons ago. Last year, again, almost like a Carson Beck, only threw for 15 touchdowns, still a pretty good season. Now, listen, Coach Prime has seemed to indicate that we probably will see Julian Lewis at some point in this game, but Caden Salter's the guy. He's a veteran quarterback, and he's not going to have to do it alone. It's funny. I put out my picks column on Wednesday morning, and I said in the column, Colorado has the deepest wide receiver room in college football. People got mad. What do you mean? They lost Travis Hunter. They lost LeJohntay Wester. They lost Jimmy Horn. I get it. Do you know who they actually have, though? If you don't know the name Sincere Brown, you're probably going to want to get to know him, okay? He was arguably the best wide receiver in the transfer portal. This was the spring cycle. He began his career at USF, played at Campbell last year. But listen, I'm going to throw out a bunch of stats. Everyone's going to say he played at Campbell. Who cares? Okay, this is what I will tell you. These were the teams that he chose Colorado over in the spring transfer portal cycle. Chose them over Michigan, over A&M, over South Carolina. When Michigan, Texas A&M, and South Carolina are in your Final Four, you're a good wide receiver. Hakeem Williams, former 5-star wide receiver, comes in from Florida State. Oh, by the way, on top of it, Joseph Williams comes in from Tulsa, 30 catches, 5 touchdowns a season ago. They also bring back Draylon Miller, 32 catches as a freshman last year, 3 touchdowns. Amarion Miller, limited injury, still had 10 catches a season ago. This is a deep wide receiver room. I think the big question is, can they find more of a balance running the football? Remember, Coach Prime said in his early, kind of State of the Union press conference to open fall camp, they want to be physical along the lines. They want to beat people up. They want to be able to run the football. They've struggled to do it the last few years. Good news is you got a road grader in Jordan Seaton leading the way, freshman All-American a season ago. As far as the defense is concerned, this is the other thing with Colorado. Everyone's focused on Shedeur this, Travis that. I wonder how many people know this fact. I was talking to somebody on Wednesday morning about this. I wonder how many college football fan, you're a college football fan if you're watching this. Here's my question for you. Do you know who led the Big 12 in sacks and TFLs a season ago? In the Big 12. Wasn't Utah. Wasn't the eventual champion Arizona State. Wasn't BYU. Wasn't Texas Tech. Colorado led the Big 12 in sacks and TFLs a season ago. Nobody remembers that. Well, guess what? most of their best players are back. Arden Walker is back. If you do not know the name or if you do not remember it from a season ago, he was a difference maker. Keaton Wade, linebacker, 7.5 TFLs, 4 sacks, only played 6 games. Sam Okunlola, 7.5 TFLs, 3 sacks last season. As I mentioned, Arden Walker, 6.5 TFLs, 3.5 sacks. Amari McNeil, 6 TFLs, 3.5 sacks. They also added Jaheim Otis, the number 1 defensive lineman in the portal a season ago. Guys, this isn't like, we did a segment on the Aaron Torres pod where people were like, oh, it's still a circus at Colorado. No, it's not. Coach Prime knows what he's doing. He's got it figured out. He's got a system in place, and he has dudes, the likes of which Colorado could have never gotten without him. Really quickly, we've spent a lot of time on Colorado. We probably do need to spend some time on Georgia Tech because Georgia Tech's a great football team. I've seen a lot of people talk about them as a dark horse playoff contender. Listen, somebody off the radar is going to get in from the ACC, SEC, Big 12, Big 10. Maybe it is Florida State. Or Georgia Tech, excuse me. Remember, this is a team that beat Florida State to open the season last year, that beat Miami in a game that it didn't quite cost Miami the college football playoff, but pretty close. Georgia last year, 8 overtimes in that game. And so could Georgia Tech be a surprise team? Maybe. We'll see. But there are the tools there. You look at who they have. First of all, I got to give credit, man. Haynes King is a guy I had given up on, right? He's at Texas A&M under Jimbo Fisher. It feels weird. He's not the guy. Maybe Jimbo Fisher just wasn't the guy. Okay? maybe it was a much more of a Jimbo Fisher problem than a Haynes King problem, because last season, 73% completion percentage, 14 touchdowns, 11 rushing touchdowns. He's turned into a very good college quarterback in the Georgia Tech system. Jamal Haynes is back at running back. Now, Georgia Tech did lose its top wide receiver, Eric Singleton, to Auburn. They'll play Friday night as well, but a couple nice additions out of the portal. Eric Rivers, coming in from FIU, was a phenomenal player a season ago. Also on top of that, another player, Dean Patterson, coming in from FIU as well. O-line, a lot of new pieces, which does worry me a little bit. And then the defense, kind of interesting. They were good last year. I don't know that I would call them great. New play caller, Blake Gideon. Do old school CFB fans remember that name? Former Texas DC. Gets this job in the spring. He's in as the defensive coordinator. Again, Georgia Tech, to its credit, was pretty good defensively last year. Think there's obviously room for improvement, places to get better at. The big name to know, Kyle Efford, of course, leading tackler, 64 tackles, 5 TFLs, and just 10 games a season ago. All right, let's get to a pick in this game. I'll be transparent. One of my favorite picks. I like Colorado. I got them at 4.5. You can get them at +4 right now in the Circus Sportsbook. I like them to win outright, but if I'm getting 4 points, I'll just take the even money and take them +4. Listen, I think there is such a discrepancy in who Colorado actually is versus who people perceive them to be. It's mind-boggling, okay? Again, and producer Matt, this can be your clip as well, is, what is the perception of Colorado? Oh, it was a Shedeur and Travis show last year. Okay, it was. Shedeur was Big 12 offensive player of the year. Travis Hunter was the Heisman Trophy winner. To me, it's about the defense. Again, how many people realize this is a team that led the Big 12 in sacks, that led the Big 12 in TFLs, that has Arden Walker, Amari McNeil, Keaton Wade, Sam Okunlola, all back, Jaheim Otis in through the transfer portal. Everybody wants to focus on the offense. It's the defense that's going to be the X factor in this game, especially when you have a running quarterback like Haynes King. And so I look at this game. I don't want to undersell Georgia Tech because they're a very good team. I also think flying across country is not easy, right? They are a team that has to fly. They're playing on a Friday night at altitude. Listen, I'm not smart enough to know what it's going to do to the body to go from 80 and humid to 75 with with not an ounce of humidity in the air, maybe colder than that. But they're going to be playing at altitude. And you just look at Georgia Tech. I just think it's a bad spot for them to fly cross country, fly Friday night. A lot of new pieces for Colorado. The thing for Colorado that's worth noting as well, both coordinators are back. Big theme of today's show, coordinator moves, right? Well, Robert Livingston is back as the DC. He was awesome last year. And I think offensively, I think Pat Shermer will see what he can do with Caden Salter. But give me Colorado +4, one of my favorite bets of the weekend. That is my official best bet in this game.